Everyday English listening. Keep listening to English every single day helps improve your understanding and speaking naturally. It trains your ears to recognize words, sounds, and phrases. Daily practice builds confidence, vocabulary, and fluency. Stay patient and consistent. The more you listen, the more confident you'll become in speaking and understanding English fluently. I am just having a basic day today. Today feels like one of those simple, quiet days, not too exciting, not too stressful. In fact, if I had to describe it in one word, I'd say it's basic. And sometimes that's exactly what we need. I woke up this morning without an alarm, which already made the start of the day feel gentle and unhurried. The sun peeked through the curtains, casting a soft glow on the walls. There was no rush, no long to-do list waiting impatiently. I lay there for a few minutes, just listening to the world outside, the sound of birds chirping, a motorcycle passing by, a distant voice calling out for breakfast. It reminded me how ordinary moments can be strangely comforting. After getting out of bed, I brushed my teeth, washed my face, and headed to the kitchen. I made myself a warm cup of tea, nothing fancy, just a regular black tea with a bit of honey. While it brewed, I stood by the window and watched the street below. The neighbors were going about their day too. A woman swept her front porch, a man walked his dog, and children played hopscotch in front of a little shop. Life moved at its usual rhythm. Breakfast was just a slice of bread with peanut butter and a banana. Simple, basic, and satisfying. I didn't feel the need for anything gourmet or elaborate. Sometimes, the most ordinary meals are enough to bring us a sense of balance. As the morning settled in, I sat down with my notebook and pen. I didn't write anything deep or poetic, just a few thoughts, some random ideas, and notes about what I've been thinking lately. I reminded myself that writing doesn't always have to be grand. Some days, it's just about putting words down and letting your mind breathe. By mid-morning, I decided to tidy up the house a little. I folded some laundry, wiped the table, watered the plants, and organized my books. These are not tasks that usually feel exciting, but today they gave me a sense of order. They reminded me that taking care of the small things is part of what keeps life flowing smoothly. There's something calming about folding a warm towel or arranging the pillows just right on the sofa. I didn't make any big plans for today. I didn't meet any friends, go out on any adventures, or start any new projects. I didn't scroll through social media too much either. Instead, I just let myself be. I listened to a few soft songs, read a few pages of a book, and watched the sky slowly change from bright blue to a softer shade of gray as the clouds came in. Lunchtime came and went quietly. I cooked a bowl of noodles with some vegetables. Again, nothing special. But eating warm food on a calm day brought a kind of peace that I didn't expect. I didn't rush through the meal. I sat at the table, looked out the window, and chewed slowly. I allowed myself to simply exist in the moment. In the afternoon, I took a short walk around the neighborhood. The streets were familiar, the same ones I walk almost every week. But even on a basic day, the world offers little surprises, a new flower blooming, a cat lounging in a strange spot, a gentle breeze that feels like a hug. I didn't take any photos. I didn't post about it. I just let the walk be what it was, quiet, slow, and enough. When I got home, I lay on the couch and closed my eyes. I didn't fall asleep. I just let my body rest. It felt good to stop, to not be busy, to not worry about productivity or goals or achievements. Some days don't need accomplishments. Some days just need space. I thought for a moment about how much pressure we put on ourselves to make every day amazing. We chase excitement, success, or something new all the time. But there's value in the ordinary. There's beauty in days that go by without any major event. Days that are filled with the gentle rhythm of daily life, breathing, eating, moving, pausing. Basic days like today remind me of how important it is to slow down. They teach me not to take simplicity for granted. In fact, basic days are the foundation of our lives. Not every day can be a celebration or a breakthrough. Many days are just about existing, and that's perfectly okay. I sometimes think about how people around the world are also having basic days. Someone in another country is washing dishes, another person is reading a book, and someone else is watching the clouds too. We are all connected by these simple actions. They may seem small, but they form the structure of our human experience. As the evening arrives, I make myself a light dinner, some rice and vegetables, a small bowl of soup. I clean up the kitchen, dim the lights, and play some soft music in the background. I don't need anything loud or distracting. The calm is enough. I sit by the window again, watching the last light of the day fade into the sky. I breathe in slowly, feeling grateful for the stillness. Before bed, I take a warm shower. The water relaxes my muscles, and I feel the worries of the day wash away. I put on comfortable clothes, brush my hair, and prepare to end the day. I write a few lines in my journal, not about anything grand, just small observations, the smell of tea, the sound of a bird, the feeling of warm water. These are the things that made today feel full, even though nothing big happened. I turn off the lights and lie down, thinking to myself, today was just a basic day. And it was enough. In a world that's constantly pushing us to do more, achieve more, and be more, basic days are a reminder that we are allowed to rest, to breathe, and to simply live. Not every day needs to be a story. Some days are quiet paragraphs in the book of life, peaceful, gentle, and just as important. As night falls and I continue to reflect on this basic day, I realize how healing it's been, not because anything special happened, but because nothing special had to. There was no urgency, no major deadline, and no emotional roller coaster. I wasn't rushing from one place to another, trying to squeeze every drop of productivity out of every minute. I just let time pass gently. Sometimes it feels like we live in a world that demands constant action. We're told to chase success, hustle harder, do more, be more. Even on weekends or days off, there's pressure to make it count. Travel somewhere, do something exciting, share an update, check off a list. But today was different. It didn't ask anything of me. It just unfolded like a calm river flowing slowly through a peaceful valley. There is something deeply human about living simply for a day. I wasn't trying to fix all my problems or reinvent my life. I wasn't comparing myself to anyone else. I wasn't trying to prove anything. I just allowed myself to be a person, breathing, walking, resting, eating, observing, and thinking. I sat with my thoughts for a while in the evening, and I noticed how clear my mind felt. Not cluttered with stress, not racing with plans, just present. I thought about how this kind of peace doesn't always come from silence or isolation. It comes from not overloading ourselves. When we give ourselves permission to have a basic day, we give our hearts and minds room to pause. It's during these simple moments that we notice what we often overlook. The way the wind gently moves the curtains. The way a small plant leans toward the sunlight. The rhythm of our own breath. These things are not flashy or loud. They are not going to go viral or win any awards. But they make life feel real. They remind us that we're alive, even in the quiet. There was a moment today when I heard a child laugh from the house next door. It was the kind of laugh that made me smile automatically. I didn't know what made the child laugh, but it didn't matter. That laughter carried something light and joyful into the air. A reminder that happiness doesn't need to be complicated. Sometimes it's just a sound that fills the space and softens the day. I think about people who long for peace, those going through hard times, dealing with illness, struggling with mental health, or grieving a loss. For many, a basic day might feel like a blessing. A day with no crisis, no heartbreak, no fear. Just a normal day where nothing goes terribly wrong. In that light, a basic day isn't boring, it's sacred. As I sit in the stillness of the evening, I feel thankful. Thankful that my body feels okay, that my mind is not overwhelmed, that my heart is at ease. Thankful that I had food, that I had a safe place to be, and that I didn't feel lonely today. These things are easy to take for granted until they're gone. Basic days also give us a chance to recharge. We may not notice it immediately, but days like today refill our inner tank. We rest, we reflect, we reset. Then, when the more demanding days come, we're not completely burned out. We've had space to breathe and soften. We're able to handle things with more clarity and strength. In the simplicity of today, I also rediscovered how powerful small choices can be. Drinking a glass of water, choosing to stretch for a few minutes, saying no to scrolling on my phone for too long, lighting a candle, taking deep breaths. These small acts may seem minor, but they shape our mood and energy. A basic day gives us the opportunity to make these mindful choices without pressure. Another part of a basic day that I cherish is that it gives space for quiet connection. Maybe not big conversations, but little ones like sending a thoughtful message to a friend or smiling at a neighbor or even just talking to ourselves kindly. Today, I texted a family member just to say, "Hi, I hope you're having a good day." That's it. Nothing deep or dramatic. But small acts like that create bonds over time. I also took a moment today to simply sit with myself, no music, no phone, no TV. Just me and the present moment. And strangely, it didn't feel lonely. It felt grounding, like I was tuning into myself again after being distracted for so long. It reminded me that I don't always need to be entertained or distracted. I can just be. As the hours passed and this basic day continued, I noticed how my mind started to soften, like a tightly wound thread finally beginning to unwind. I wasn't chasing time. I wasn't running from task to task. I wasn't waiting for something amazing to happen. I was just in the day, allowing myself to be in each little moment without pressure. There's something healing about a day that doesn't ask for much. It's not filled with urgency. It doesn't pull us in multiple directions. It doesn't require us to be our most brilliant or our most efficient selves. It just gives us space to live gently. I'm learning to embrace these days more, to stop calling them boring or lazy, and to start calling them necessary. Basic days give us the freedom to reconnect, not only with our surroundings, but with ourselves. I realized today how long it had been since I truly listened to myself. Not the loud thoughts filled with anxiety or to-do lists, but the quiet ones underneath, the thoughts that whisper instead of shout. The part of me that just wants to breathe, stretch, and feel the world without having to do anything about it. This afternoon, I sat outside for a few minutes with a cup of warm water. I didn't even bring my phone. I just looked up at the sky and watched the clouds move. I noticed how the light changed color as the sun moved behind a tree. I watched ants crawl across the pavement. It sounds uneventful, but somehow it brought me back to life in a way that no screen or schedule ever could. Being present in a basic day is like wiping the dust off a window. Suddenly, you see clearly again. You notice details you always miss when you're rushing. You remember that life isn't only about big achievements and important events. It's about how you feel while doing the ordinary. It's about the smell of your home, the softness of your bed, the kindness in your tone when you talk to yourself. I took some time to reflect on how far I've come. Not in terms of success or goals, but in my ability to enjoy simplicity. There was a time in my life when I didn't know how to slow down. I believed every day had to be productive. I thought rest was a waste. I measured my value by how much I could accomplish, but not anymore. Days like today show me how much I've grown. I now understand that a basic day is not wasted. It's a form of restoration. Sometimes we forget that we are human beings, not human doings. We need time to rest, to restore, to just be. I didn't answer every email today. I didn't complete any big projects. But I feel calm, content, and closer to myself. That's something no checklist can give. I think about nature and how it teaches us this lesson every day. Trees don't bloom every moment. The moon doesn't shine fully every night. The tides rise and fall. Even the sun has cloudy days. Nature moves in cycles, active and still, loud and quiet, bright and dim. Why do we expect ourselves to be any different? Basic days are a gentle way of reminding us that it's okay to pause, to stop pushing for a moment, to rest in the rhythm of the day, to let life be enough, even if it doesn't sparkle. Later in the day, I cleaned my desk, not because I had to, but because it felt good to bring order to a small corner of my world. I threw away old papers, wiped the surface, and placed a small plant next to my notebook. It wasn't dramatic, but it gave me a sense of peace. It reminded me that small acts of care can transform how a space feels and how we feel inside that space. I read a few pages of a book I'd forgotten about. The story didn't move fast, but the words were beautiful. I underlined a line that said, "The quietest days often speak the loudest truths." That stayed with me. I thought about how many truths are hidden in simple routines, in the quiet space between conversations, in the pauses between activities. Basic days allow us to hear those truths. I also reflected on how many people around me are also carrying invisible loads. Everyone is fighting a battle others can't see. Maybe someone had a hard week and just needed a basic day to breathe again. Maybe someone is grieving silently and trying to get through the day moment by moment. Maybe someone is healing from something they don't talk about. For all those people, for all of us, a basic day is not a sign of weakness. It's a gift, a breath, a chance to feel okay again. Sometimes even joy comes quietly, not as laughter or celebration, but as a soft contentment. I felt that today. A quiet joy that didn't ask to be noticed but made itself known anyway, in the warmth of my drink, in the comfort of my clothes, in the steady rhythm of a calm afternoon. Before bed, I took another moment to reflect. I whispered a quiet thank you to the day. It didn't give me fireworks or epiphanies, but it gave me peace. And maybe that's even better. It reminded me that I don't always have to be busy to feel worthy. I don't always need something to show for my time. Being present, fully present, is enough. So yes, today was just a basic day. But it reminded me to rest, to breathe, to notice, to be grateful, to reconnect with myself and the world in small, quiet ways. And maybe tomorrow will be another basic day, or maybe it won't. But now I know how to embrace these days as part of my journey, not as wasted time, but as sacred pauses between the busier chapters of life. These days give my soul a chance to catch up. They give my body a chance to heal. They give my heart a moment to exhale. And when I look back years from now, I might not remember the exact date or what I wore or what I ate, but I will remember the feeling, calm, grounded, and whole. Yes, I am just having a basic day today, and I am deeply, quietly thankful for it.